Alright folks, we're here for a live stream. This is a bit different. I've tried a different sort of method today. Obviously, I've usually been doing like videos and stuff, but live streams are just a bit easier, I suppose. You can just sit down in front of a camera and chat, and you've got a live comment section to keep the content rolling continuously. And this is something I'm going to try and do basically every match day that I can fit it in, mainly Saturdays obviously because it's the weekend and I don't have my job to go to, but for example in midweeks I might do it as well, where it might be like an hour long again pre-match, so maybe from like 5:30 to 6:30 etc. But it's essentially going to be a live stream style form content that allows me to kind of speak about games that are coming up, speak about different aspects of the games and stuff, team lineups, kind of combined 11s, and we can get involved in a live chat and speak about that kind of thing. So it's not just going to be me sitting chatting here like this. It is going to look a bit like this. Just hold on with me for a second. Right, so there you have the split screen and then you have the overlay. Now currently I'm on a tactical board online, and this is for a wee feature that I'm hopefully going to do at some point in the stream where we go through this lineup and we pick out maybe like a game that's playing today and we do a combined 11 of the teams, or maybe in the live chat you can like give me two teams and we'll get based on that, and it'll be based on like what is said in the live chat and what you guys think. So just to welcome folk in, hello Chris Morton TV. Yeah, last night was a dire game. Morton versus Dunfermline. 0-0 in front of the cameras. You wait all year long to see your team play, and it's a 0-0, so it was pretty garbage. I'm sure we're going to talk about this later in the stream, but League 1 and League 2 have been neglected by the SPFL. Changed my mind. I mean, it's hard to change your mind on that one because they simply have been kind of shunned aside because of the part-time element of how the squads operate. So can full-time players get it easier because they can be full-time in their own bubble, like the Championship and Premiership teams. Championship for the majority, of course, because there is Arbroath and Alloa there that are part-time, but for the majority, the top two tiers are full-time, so they can stick within their bubble. So it is easier in that aspect, but League 1 and League 2 have been shafted here, and you've only got to look to teams like Falkirk and Partick Thistle to see where their issues are arising, because they're just simply not getting treated in the way that they would have hoped to. Obviously, they tried to solve it by getting the leagues reconstructed a way back when, almost a year ago now, and obviously now they're bearing the brunts of the punishment that they had to deal with by not getting the leagues reconstructed. Firstly, by not getting the same amount of grant that clubs were afforded in the Championship as opposed to League 1, and then their leagues have now been stopped when they probably could have continued playing. So there's a load of things to go on with League 1 and League 2, and if you're a fan of any of those teams within League 1 and League 2 and below, obviously there's plenty of other discussions to be had around the lower leagues as well. I'm sure you'll be gutted with the outcome. Hi Ben, I have a podcast today, a chance I could get you on it because I love your videos. We can speak about that at some point, Jack. I'm sure your podcast is great, and we can certainly speak about that over time. Bobby Pollock, if the Pars were to get into the playoff final against one Premiership club, who would you prefer to face? There's a difficult one. Right, so off that comment, let's go on a Scottish football page on BBC Sport, onto the Premiership table and scroll down, and as you can see here is the Premiership table. Now, the points gap at the moment, I'd say realistically you could just include St Mirren in it. I think anything, even St Mirren I'm kind of going against because I think they've got enough to stay up. The teams that are really involved in it, I think, are anything from 9th place downwards. So St Johnstone, Motherwell, Hamilton and Ross County. Now, I think the teams that are very much in danger of it are Hamilton and Ross County. I think Motherwell will have enough, and I think St Johnstone have enough in attacking areas to get them out of the positions. I just think that Hamilton's chances are going to be diminished by their squad. I didn't think it was good enough at the start of the season, and I still don't think it is now. And Ross County, despite changing their manager, getting John Hughes in, I just don't see them having enough over the course of the season. I mean, they've only scored 14 goals in the entire league campaign so far. It's by far, well, not by far actually, St Mirren have scored 16 goals, which is pretty poor in itself considering where they actually sit in the table in the points gap. So they've done far better defensively, clearly. But Ross County only scoring 14 goals, it's not good enough at all. But they've conceded 42 as well, so defensively they've been horrendous. And then you look at Hamilton, they have scored 7 more goals, so they do sit actually around about 9th or 8th in terms of goals scored in the division. But in terms of goals conceded, they sit rock bottom. So you've got to look at it for all sides. But who would I rather face in a playoff final? I think I'd rather face Hamilton. I think I'd rather face Hamilton, but I think if there is going to be a team that are involved in it, I think it will be Ross County, because I think over the course of it, by the end of the season, as long as we get it fully completed, I think Ross County will make their way up into the relegation playoff place and Hamilton will go down automatically. So there's my answer to that one. Hello, Georgia's Life. Ewan Murray, what are your thoughts on the outcome of the appeals? Very good. I don't think any team, St Mirren or Kilmarnock, deserved to have a points deduction. Obviously, Motherwell benefited off of that by getting 2-3-0 wins, I believe it was. But I think the right outcome has come, and obviously it's financial, I don't know, financial punishments have been given to both clubs. So I think that's fair enough. The clubs did break social distancing protocols, so it is right that they get given a slap across the wrist in some form of way. But I think that the outcome of the appeals has been rightfully turned round. Has that had a massive part to play with Celtic obviously causing issues? If Celtic hadn't had their issue, where obviously the SPFL have had to sort of look at that and then punish the other clubs in a similar way, I suppose. I don't know. But I support Airdrie and absolutely money back for testing. I mean, the fact, obviously, the difference between the two funds that were disposed between the clubs, obviously the Championship clubs getting 500 grand, and then the League One in itself only got 150 grand. I don't know if League Two got an even further diminished amount, but it's no great for teams in League One and League Two. For the Championship, it's probably a bit better. We may go on to speak about the fact that the Championships, teams have been asked if they want to continue playing. I think they should, because they've got the testing capabilities available because of the funds that were given to them. So I don't see any reason for the Championship to stop, but we'll wait and see on that one. Is top 6 achievable for St Mirren this season, or will it take a few years to achieve? Well, let's once again go back to the league table. Top 6 currently sees Dundee United sitting on 27 points, and St Mirren currently sit on 23 with 3 games in hand on said 6th place team Dundee United and 2 in hand of the team above them, Kilmarnock. So it's very much achievable. There's only 4 points there, and there's 9 points to play for in hand, and then there's the rest of the games to play. So you'd have to say it's achievable for St Mirren. I don't think there's much difference in the quality of the teams between, say, 6th and 8th. Obviously, we've seen a massive upturn in Livingston's form recently, where they're almost into double-figure wins for the season, which is outstanding for them. And they really are actually breathing down the necks of 4th place Hibs. So Hibs need to really start turning their form round, because Livingston have really turned their season round under David Martindale, which is very interesting to see, because you wouldn't have predicted no chance. I think it's something like 7 or 8 wins on the bounce since he came in, so brilliant. You think the 500k has given the part-time clubs in the Championship a positive over a lot of the full-time clubs, including the likes of Falkirk and Partick Thistle? An advantage? Maybe not, because like you've got teams like Alloa and Arbroath who do get similar attendances at times to the likes of Morton and Queen of the South. So they're two full-time clubs that do get relatively similar amounts to the likes of Alloa and Arbroath. So I don't think it's given them as much of a advantage to their Championship rivals in terms of obviously Falkirk and Partick Thistle. Of course it has, because there's £350,000 difference we're talking about here. So of course it has in that aspect, but in case of the rest of the Championship clubs that are full-time, I don't think it has really. So that's the answer to that one. Are you happy with a point at Gearan Morton? No. We do struggle at Capello at times, but last night was one, a very hard game to watch, and two, it just, I don't know, we had chances to go and win that game, and I feel like we should have really gone on to at least get one goal. There was only going to be one goal in that game. There was never going to be anything more than that. And unfortunately, it leaves our form guide not looking the best. In the last 5, a loss, which was to Morton, then a draw, win, draw. And of course, you could caveat that by saying we're unbeaten in 4 games. But just a win last night would have done a good amount, because we would have been only 2 points behind Hearts, with both Hearts and Wraith Rovers still to play with, like, in games in hand, and Wraith Rovers is our game in hand after Hearts play today. So it's an interesting one. I don't know really what to think about the kind of full situation. It's a bit of a sticky one, because I mean, you've got teams coming up in the promotion playoff battle here. Morton are a surprise addition for me this season. I didn't see them being up here at this point in the season, but there is only a small point gap between them and the likes of Inverness and stuff. So I wouldn't say they're nailed on for any sort of playoff place at the moment. I think 4th place is going to be the one that's really up for grabs at the end of the season. I do think Dunfermline and Dundee will be in there, either 2nd or 3rd. And we've opened up a decent point gap to exit in the playoffs. There's a 5-point gap between us and Wraith Rovers at the moment, despite them having a couple of games left to play. But we'll see how it pans out through this season. I do think that a win last night would have just done a whole lot of good for us. Hamilton in a playoff final, that doesn't bring up any bad memories. Well, I can see your profile picture. You're a Hibs fan, so obviously that brings bad memories for you. For Dundee United fans, it will be the same, because they were defeated by Hamilton in a playoff final. So Hamilton do have a history of doing well and one, staying up, and then when they do get into a relegation playoff, they tend to win them. So if Dunfermline did end up playing Hamilton in a relegation playoff, it would be nervy, because I would want to win, because obviously I'd want my team to get promoted, but I'd know in the back of my mind Hamilton's just resilient in the last few years. So we'll just need to wait and see if the seasons, 1, get played out, and 2, what the outcome ends up being in terms of playoffs. 500k given to the part-time team is shocking, especially seeing Alloa want to stop the season now. I don't think it is Alloa. I think it's Inverness that are pushing for it. John Robertson seems to have a kind of issue with his players' kind of feelings around continuing to play. I think they've made it sort of clear that they would want football to be suspended in some way. If anyone else knows anything about that, then feel free to let me know. Will Gerrard stay at Rangers if they win the league? There's 2 ways to look at this, because Gerrard's obviously done very well over the last few years in terms of building a Rangers team that is now competitive. But if he wins the league, you could say he leaves on a high. He's stopped Celtic's 10 in a row. He's given Rangers their first title since coming back up into the leagues. And depending on what way you look at this sort of situation, he's given them their 55th title as well. So you've got to look at it for both sides. Does Gerrard then see a better option down south? Is he waiting for the Liverpool opportunity to open up? And is Jurgen Klopp going to be leaving for that opportunity to open up? is Rangers the best option rather than going to somewhere like, I don't know, a middle table team in the Premiership, like, I'm just going to say it, West Ham. David Moyes will stay there, but a West Ham type team, Newcastle, is Rangers the better option because they're guaranteed European football every year, or at least qualification stages. So I think Gerrard will stay. Personally, I think he will stay because I think he wants that Liverpool job to open up, be successful at Rangers for a few years, hopefully win a few trophies for his sake, and then move on to the job that he wants. Like Frank Lampard did, going to Derby, winning, getting involved in promotion playoffs, etc., and then moving on to Chelsea, where he's obviously a legend. Hello, Hammy. Welcome to the stream. I think you commented that about 5-10 minutes ago, but I'm just trying to get down every single comment here. I know Thomas Ribera Airdrie, yes, he's scored a brilliant goal against Forfar, and he's been a pivotal cog in Airdrie so far this season, as we can look at with the Scottish League One table. We can see that Airdrie are in the promotion playoffs, and with a game in hand on the teams above them, so they could easily jump into second place. Well, not at the moment, the league's obviously suspended, but when it does return, when they play that game in hand, they could jump up into second place, and I would say they've got a decent chance of, I would say any of the teams that are going to be involved in a promotion playoff in League One have got a decent chance of beating a championship team in the relegation playoff or promotion playoff for the League One teams. What did you think about the Morton versus Dunfermline game last night? Horrendous, not worth the time watching it, so don't watch it back if you missed it. Yeah, not sure why Championship want to stop. Actually, the biggest score estimate. Yeah, I don't think it's the Championship that want to stop. I think it's been made clear that it's one team that have kind of said they would rather stop than continue playing. But I'm expecting the votes to come through on Monday that the Championship clubs don't want to stop. I think it'll be a resounding majority that will say that they want to continue playing because the testing's there. The players will want to play. I think that's been kind of noted in loads of interviews that the players are just glad to be out there playing, and they know that they're privileged to be in the position. And from a fan's perspective, losing the bottom three professional leagues in Scotland would be so damaging to mental health, to just the game in general. Like once teams are going to stop playing and leagues stop playing, it's hard to get them up and running again. And at what point do you go, oh, aye, it's fine to open back up again? And then there may end up being a situation even further down the line where cases rise again for COVID, obviously. It's all a mess, really. It's Stuart. Hello. All right, mate. Hope you're doing well. Not paying pay-per-view today, but hoping we can actually get the result. You must be gutted about last night. Gutted is probably not the right word for it. It was just a horrendous game. It wasn't one of those that you're going to remember. But in terms of the points that we could have got from it, of course you're disappointed with not winning the game. But overall, draw was a pretty fair result. We did have the better chances, but you've got to take them, and we simply didn't. So a draw is a pretty fair result. Would you rather Kevin Nisbet leave now in January so Dunfermline can make money and make some signings now, or let him keep building his stock and get a potentially bigger move worth more money? I think he should stay at Hibs, get games, hopefully get called up to the Scotland squad, and I think he might stay at Hibs for a further season as well. I don't see him moving on straight away. I don't see Hibs wanting him to move on unless the fee that's offered from most likely down south is going to be like something substantial. Obviously, the money that Dunfermline make from this will be fantastic for myself, being a supporter of the club, but I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know what Kevin will be thinking about. But I can see him potentially staying for a further season at Hibs and just building up his stock even more in the Scottish game and looking for that Scotland call-up, as I said. Will Dundee go up? I'm hoping not, obviously because I'm a Dunfermline fan, but as far as kind of their chances, obviously they've got every chance. They've got the same amount of chances Dunfermline have. But they've got players like Charlie Adam and Osman Sow hitting form as well, and I don't know. It's going to be a tough battle between those two teams. I think those two are the favourites for any sort of rise into the Premiership through the promotion playoffs. The fourth place team never really seems to get very far in the promotion playoffs. So I think whoever finishes second will have the best chance of being promoted. And whether that's Dundee or Dunfermline, we'll just need to wait and see come the end of the season. Brilliant result for Dundee last night. Hopefully can win and go second. So who did Dundee play today? Let's just wait and see. Just now, Scottish Championship scores and fixtures. Dundee play United at home. Well, I mean you would back Dundee in that fixture because Ayr have not looked great recently. For my sake, obviously, I'm hoping for something like a draw or an Ayr win. But if Dundee win the day, they will go second, and then it's just a case of Dunfermline trying to win their games in hand, and then obviously the games against Dundee, picking up points in them. So it'll be interesting. As I say, there's definitely going to be a battle between them for second and third, I think. What would my Dundee front two be? Osman Sow and Danny Millen. Oh, it's harsher than Jonathan Afolabi, but I'm picking Osman Sow just based on the fact that he's on form right now. I'm still not really that big a fan of the boy, but you can't argue with the fact that he's scoring goals. So I'd go for Osman Sow and Danny Millen. And if one of the two wasn't on form, then Afolabi would get in. But I do like the kind of tall man, short man type dynamic when it comes to front twos. So the current on form man and Osman Sow can be the tall man. And Danny Millen can be the small one in my wee kind of format, and Afolabi comes off the bench until one of them doesn't perform as well. Hearts fan Ed Stewart said top three in the Championship will stay the same. He's just not sure what order. Fair enough. I can see that being the case, to be honest. As I said, I think Hearts will win the league, and Dundee and Dunfermline, just see what happens with that one. I reckon the pitch saved Morton last night. I think the downside to that pitch is that they train on it quite a lot, so it does take a big hammering throughout the week. Then of course weather conditions have been an issue recently, so it's not been great for a good pitch. I'm saying Hearts first, Dundee second, and Pars third. I mean, you would say that, Hammy, you're a Dundee fan. That's always going to happen. You said Dundee would win the league at the start of the season. I knew you would do it. I watched your prediction video back then and I thought, he's not really going to say Dundee are going to win the league, is he? And he did. So, I mean, I know it's still possible, but I just never saw it happening, and I still don't see it happening. It's Inverness who want the season finished. I've seen that around about recently. I don't think it'll happen, to be honest. Have you got high latency on this stream? What is that? What is high latency? Because I'm not sure what that even means, if I'm being quite honest. Let me know. Which players would you like to see sign contracts extensions next? Which players would I like to see sign contract extensions at Dunfermline next? I mean, the obvious answer is Ewan Murray, and then Kyle Turner as well. I think Ewan Murray may move on just because, I mean, if we get promoted, this may all change. I would like to see Kyle Turner get snapped up because I do think he's a very sellable asset. I think we could get decent money for him. Ewan Murray, it's just one of those ones. I mean, he's the captain of the club. It would be very nice to see him sign an extension, but he's been linked to big teams recently, and if a team like Aberdeen comes calling again in the summer, he's going to go on a free, and I can just see that being the case. So Kyle Turner for me, I'd like to see signed up next. Score prediction for Dundee United. Now I believe they're playing Hamilton away today, but I'll just confirm that here. Yeah, Hamilton versus Dundee United at 3 o'clock. I'll back a Dundee United win here. Now, what did I say in my prediction league, one of them that I'm in. I've said Hamilton 0, Dundee United 1. So that's my prediction for the game. And that's that really. Hamilton 0, Dundee United 1. Let's go for Nicky Clark to get the goal. No, Nicky Clarkie. Hello, Stuart Hume. Welcome to the stream. Will you do your predictions for each game today when the lineups come out? I mean, I can do them right now because, especially the Premiership, because I've actually done them in a prediction league. So in terms of the games that are on today, Celtic versus Livingston, I predicted that one in my prediction league to be Celtic 1, Livingston 0. And probably a David Turnbull goal because he seems to be the only one that's scoring goals now. It might seem very harsh on Livingston because they are very much the form team in the division right now, but I don't know, just the narrative, I can just see Celtic winning. It's maybe a bit like naive for me to just think that Celtic will win, but Celtic 1, Livingston 0 for that one. As I just said before, Hamilton 0, Dundee United 1. Nicky Clark to score, I think. Hibs and Kilmarnock, the game that I'll be watching later on today. I'm going to go for Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 1. Kevin Nisbet, obviously, to score at some point in the game. I don't know any other scorers. Let's just go for Kevin Nisbet to score 2. And for Kilmarnock, we'll go for Greg Kiltie to get the goals. Ex-Dunfermline players scoring the goals in that game. The next game on the fixture card today is Ross County versus Aberdeen. I've gone with Ross County 1, Aberdeen 3. I see Aberdeen as by far the stronger team here, and I expect them to come out pretty comfortable winners. But I've just gone for them to concede one kind of consolation goal, just because John Hughes has got them sort of playing decent again, Ross County. So I think they will grab a goal, but it won't mean much in the context of the game. So Ross County 1, Aberdeen 3. And then the last game of today, St Johnstone versus St Mirren. I've gone for a 0-0. Exciting stuff, I know. But yeah, I've gone for a 0-0. And then the game that's taking place tomorrow, that is within, well, Livingston and Celtic is actually within this same game week, I suppose, as well. But for this round of sort of fixtures at the moment, Motherwell versus Rangers takes place tomorrow, which I will be watching. And for that one, I've gone with Motherwell 1, Rangers 3. Again, I know Rangers haven't really been conceding many goals, but they did concede one at Motherwell away before. I see Rangers, as I said with the Aberdeen game, I see Rangers coming out comfortable winners, but Motherwell just get a kind of consolation goal to just add a bit of narrative to it. Thoughts on Hearts and Gary Mackay-Steven? Gary Mackay-Steven, an interesting signing. Obviously, it wasn't too long ago he was performing very well for Aberdeen in the Premiership, but he's gone to America, and I just don't see him being the same player. And whether or not that's, again, a naive kind of thing for me to think, as I said, it wasn't that long ago that he was performing for Aberdeen in the top flight, but I just don't see it being as quality a signing once they get up into the Premiership. In the Championship, no doubt, he'll be, if not the best player in the league, by far one of the best players in the league. Hearts have been asking for a winger, and they've definitely got a better quality winger than the ones they have at the moment. So from their aspect, it's a brilliant signing in terms of their squad, but long term, I don't think it will be as fantastic a signing as it's been made out to be. Means a delay, like I'm commenting and you're reading them out 5 minutes later. Nah, I'm literally scrolling up the chat right now. Like I'm at 12:26 in terms of when people have been commenting. Like you commented that at 12:25. I'm just slowly getting myself down the comments and trying to answer everyone that's put stuff in. So it's I don't think it's any massive delay or anything like that. I just think it's me being slow on reading the comments. Dunfermline fan, I'd like to see Turner and Edwards sign extensions. Josh Edwards has a 1-year extension clause in his contract, so I would assume that's appearance based. So I think he will sign an extension. I don't think there's any worries about that. He's been a good performer, and I think he'll see it as, this has been his first real season playing consistently at Championship level, and I think he'll go to sign his extension clause. When he signed, he did have the 1 year extension put in there, so I think he'll sign that. And as you said, Turner, I would agree. Edwards, Turner, and Whittaker, I think will sign, but Murray will move on. Fair enough. I can see that very much being the case as well. Hope for Turner, as I said. Whittaker, it'll be up to him whether he sees it being the case that he's coming nearer the end of his career. Obviously, he's already looked into the coaching side by signing as a player coach for us. But we'll just wait and see on that front. But I do think that if Murray is going to just run down his contract, then it's far more likely that he'll just move on in the summer for a free. Morton missed Josh McPake. Yeah, that is a big miss. Players like that are always going to be a miss in any team because they just bring that vibrancy to a team and bring the flair that a lot of teams need to push on. Obviously, Morton have missed a player like Nicky Cadden this season as well. They lost him in the summer. Brought Josh McPake in, and now he's away out on loan to, I believe, Forest Green Rovers. No, Harrogate Town. That's the one it is, Harrogate Town. What's my Arbroath prediction? Now, Arbroath today are playing. Let's see this one. Arbroath are playing Queen of the South. I think Queen of the South will win this one. I think they're one of the on-form teams in the division. And obviously, Arbroath just aren't. But in terms of the league table, if Arbroath don't win this game against Queen of the South, I think that kind of puts them into like one of the relegation places and guaranteed to be at the end of the season. And the fact that they've already got a 5-point gap between themselves and Queen of the South to get out of any sort of relegation worries. Obviously, the relegation playoff place is just above them. They could get into that place, but it still involves some form of uncertainty about their future. If they can win this game, it does bring them back into the conversation. But with Queen of the South's recent form, I think Queen of the South will win today. I'll go for a 2-0 Queen of the South win. Who do you think will win the championship? Heart of Midlothian. That's who I think. Despite their loss to Dunfermline and Dundee this season, they have lost more games than Dunfermline. But we are draw specialists, and that's what's been holding us back this season. If we'd picked up, like say for example, we had won the game away at Ayr, 0-0 draw, that was. So if we'd got one goal there, we would have been 2 points better off. If we'd got a goal last night, we would have been another 2 points better off. We would have been joint on points with yourselves at the moment. With yous left to play, another game against Wraith left to play, etc, etc. So I think we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot with the draws that we've had so far. And I think Hearts will win the league, pretty much. Jack Ritchie. I know this is a joke. I swear when I used to run my wee Dunfermline fan page on Instagram, there was a couple of wee things for you back in the day then about young Ross Love. Would you bring Ross Love into the Pars cover from McManus & Co? Definitely. 100%. Quality addition. Thoughts on Scott Wright going to Rangers? It's an interesting one because Scott Wright's been injured for a while. He's definitely a top talent in terms of young players in Scotland. And for how he was playing for Aberdeen earlier this season, I think it would be a very good signing for Rangers, especially long term, because if he goes and signs for Rangers, he's not going to be leaving anytime soon. He's going to be a young player that will be developed at Rangers for years to come. I certainly think he's one of the best young talents in Scotland at the moment. So it'd be a fantastic signing from Rangers' point of view. But for Aberdeen to have let his contract run down to the last 6 months, I'm assuming it must be a financial thing, but it's certainly not a good look for Aberdeen because it's probably their best young talent at the club right now, and he's going to be leaving on a pre-contract agreement. It's no great. It's no great look. So I think Scott Wright will end up going away from Aberdeen, whether that's Rangers or not is yet to be seen. But if Rangers do sign him, I think it's a very good signing for definitely the long term. Casey Gowans, who should Dundee United sign? I don't think they're in a position to sign anybody at the moment, if I'm being quite honest. They've made it pretty clear that they couldn't offer Paul McMullen a contract extension, so therefore he's gone and signed a pre-contract agreement with Dundee. So that's kind of a loss for them in that aspect, but I don't know if he was that in favour at Dundee United anyway. And they've obviously gone and offered players like Nicky Clark and what's his name, Liam Smith, a new contract, which is fantastic for them because Nicky Clark, top scorer this season, and Liam Smith, consistent performer in both the Championship winning team and now in the Premiership, and scored that really fantastic goal in terms of the finish anyway, and the angle that it was scored from against Rangers. But he's been a very consistent performer for them. So the players they've got signed up on contracts, very good for them. I don't see them signing anybody permanently this window. I think it will be a thing for the summer once they can review how the coronavirus pandemic and all that has affected them. Hopefully by that point crowds will be coming back and clubs can start looking at it as a more financial benefit for them, having fans back in stadiums, etc. Who was your man of the match yesterday? You said Paul Watson. It's difficult. Like, I don't know how the BBC and Billy Dodds, in particular, because he was the one that picked it, came to the conclusion of Stephen Whittaker, because I just don't think he was anywhere near man of the match. Certainly not in the first half. He was late in challenges, and I was surprised he didn't get booked. If Ian Wilson had stayed on the pitch, I think he was going to be my man of the match. But then he got hooked, which I was quite surprised at. So it really is a tough one. I'll probably go from a Dunfermline perspective, I'll go with you, Paul Watson. But from a Morton perspective, I'll go for someone like Aidan McAdams in goal just because he made a few saves. But it was a dire game and it really didn't even deserve a man of the match choice, to be honest. Jack, superb. Enjoy your day, Monopars. Monopars, always. When do you think fans will be back? I mean, you could ask me this question in July, August, September, October, November, December, and now in January. I would have thought fans would have been back by now, but the winter pandemic hit once again, the second wave, as people were calling it, and it's just thrown everything up in the air. I imagine the vaccine will have a massive part to play, of course, but it's going to be months until that can be rolled out to people like me. But we'll just need to wait and see. I don't think it's that unrealistic to think that we could have some fans back by the end of the season, but some fans, not all fans, and certainly not back to the normal way that we once used to go to football games. Thoughts on Shankland's long shot? Well, I mean, it was a fantastic shot. Let's be brutally honest about that one. Let's try and get a wee photo of this one up. Where's the best place to find this? Let's actually go to the Scottish Premiership. And go to Dundee United and go back just now. I don't know if I want to play it because I think I might get copyright. But essentially, he scores from like 53 yards out. And it was just a fantastic strike. You cannot say that it wasn't. I mean, Mickey Mellon goes on to say here about the goal. He knows what he's doing before the ball comes to him and he executes it brilliantly. If there's many better goals than that this season, then I'll be delighted to see them. And I mean, the one that comes to mind is Kemar Roof's goal in the Europa League. That was a fantastic strike, and it really was reminiscent of that. But it's got to be goal of the season in the Premiership for me. You've got Rory McKenzie's chip. I can't remember who it was against, but I think Dundee United, that's who it was against. It was the 4-0 win against Dundee United. Rory McKenzie's chip goal, which was a brilliant team goal for Kilmarnock, that's up there. James Tavernier's free kick and Lawrence Shankland's long range goal. That's the three main picks for goal of the season for me, so far anyway. And there he is, Hammy HD, with the £2.99 donation. Thanks very much. As you can see in the in the bottom kind of section of the stream right now. Super chat donations are appreciated. Like, subscribe to the channel. That'll be appreciated as well. Please like the video. That will get it kind of a bit more around and hopefully get more people involved in the stream. We're here until 2 p.m. So we're here for a pretty substantial amount of time. But yeah, so super chat donations are appreciated. As I've said with Hammies, cheers for that, man. Don't get paid till Wednesday, so this is all I have to offer. But I mean, anything, as I said, it's appreciated. You don't have to do that, but I really do appreciate it when you send a few pounds here and there into the streams. I think that's a good move for McMillan. I think it's a good move for him in terms of game time. It would have been better for him if he could have gotten the move in this window, because it would have been guaranteed game time for the rest of the season, because I think he would have come in and been a pretty much guaranteed starter for Dundee. I think he's going to be ahead of the likes of Declan McDaid, for example, in the Dundee team. So I think if he can push through the move this window, then it will benefit him far more than going in the summer. Because if Dundee get promoted, he'll be in the same position where he's back being a Premiership player, and he hasn't really looked that great quality for the Premiership so far. It's obviously yet to be seen if he can go and improve that if Dundee do get promoted. But I think the best move for McMullen would be to move in this window. It's a brilliant move for Dundee. As I said, more if they stay in the Championship, because he's a fantastic Championship level player, as was seen with his consistent team selection, Paul McMullen's team involvement in Dundee United's Championship winning team. And he played for Dunfermline before as well, and he was a good player back then as well. Paul, he wasn't really getting a game for United. He had injury problems for a wee while too. He needs first team action. Completely agree. Everything I've basically just covered there. Wraith Rovers are going up too. That's an interesting one, eh? I don't think you would have been saying that at the start of the season unless you were a very optimistic Wraith Rovers fan. I think every Wraith Rovers fan would have been just happy with consolidation in the Championship this season, maybe pushing slightly for the promotion playoffs, but not expecting to be in there, and certainly not saying that they're going up. I don't know if you're a Wraith Rovers fan, but I certainly don't see them being a stick-on for promotion. Just want Stranraer FC back. Now, Stranraer FC, what a club they are. Let's go on to the Stranraer FC website. Let's go into Google for this. Stranraer FC. I purchased their third kit, I want to say, this season. I just thought it was such a fantastic shirt. So let's go into their shop. This one right here. What a strip that is. Oh yeah, beauty. Let's try and get a wee kind of zoomed in image of this. Let's zoom in. I'm hoping you can see that. Yep, you can see that perfectly. This strip I bought. Just a fantastic number. It's my kind of colour scheme, let's be quite honest. I'm a Dunfermline fan. It's black, white and red. So I love it for that aspect. But see this badge? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Stranraer are in their 150th anniversary year, so they've marked it by making their badge far more vintage and retro. When their away kit came out, I was interested in that one as well. But once the third kit came out, I had to get that one. It's sitting in my bedroom right now, and I'm not going to say it's my favourite kit of the full season, but it's definitely up there. They've done a fantastic job with it, and I just think this badge is a fantastic addition to this season. It's a shame that obviously they've now had to suspend playing in any of their kits with this badge, because once this season finishes, if they go back to their previous badge, which wasn't horrendous, but I really rate that badge, honestly. Your donation was in that manky colour. What manky colour? Oh, was it in kind of ready tangerine? Short again. Wait. Sorry about that, man. best player in the Championship this season so far. Let's have a look. Let's go back on to, let's just go back a few pages. So we're back onto the BBC Sport kind of pages. Let's go to this. Scores and fixtures. Scottish Championship. And go to top scorers. Now, of course, the top scorers doesn't always need to mean best players in the Championship. Like, I would not say for a second that Declan McManus has been the best player in the Championship this season. I would have to go for your man, Charlie Adam. I mean, looking at the stats here, a sort of deep-lying playmaking midfielder. 4 goals, 6 assists in 11 games. In 11 games, he's been involved in 10 goals. He's averaging just under a half a goal per 90 minutes, which, I mean, is pretty good for a midfielder anyway. It's definitely decent. You've got 231 minutes per goal. You've got 18 total shots, and from those 18 total shots, he's scored 4. So he's scoring around every 1 in 4 shots he's taken. Goal conversion, 22%, which is in line with Liam Boyce, for example, at Hearts. And shot accuracy, 67%, which is better than Liam Boyce. And in line with the likes of Stephen Naismith and Osman Sow, and close to obviously Declan McManus as well. In terms of impact on the pitch, you'd also have to have Osman Sow up there so far. 6 goals in 9 games, 1 goal per 90 minutes pretty much. He's averaging a goal every 90 minutes, so he's likely to score every single game he gets out on the pitch. And he's only had 12 shots. He's scored from all the shots he's had, he's scored half of them. Pretty impressive. 50% goal conversion, shot accuracy 75%. You'd have to say that Osman Sow and Charlie Adam are up there. I mean, Charlie Adam, top of the assist chart. Ollie Lee, who's just gone on loan to Gillingham, second in the assist chart. And Liam Fontaine of Dundee, centre half, is third. So it is an interesting dynamic, but I would have to go for Charlie Adam as my first pick. Osman Sow as second, and then potentially then go for Declan McManus just because he is the actual top scorer in the division. So that's my answer to that question there. Casey Gowans, definitely think Dundee are staying down for at least another 2 years. I wonder who you support. I'm not imagining it's Dundee. Hammy agrees with me that it's Charlie Adam. I'm sure you'll be glad to hear that my answer was Charlie Adam as well. I answered this earlier, thoughts on Gary Mackay-Stevens to Hearts. I think it's a good signing in terms of a championship signing. I think he's a very good quality championship player. But in terms of going up to the Premiership, I'm not entirely convinced that he'll be the same player that he was at the likes of Aberdeen and obviously previously, very previously, like years and years ago, Dundee United. But we'll wait and see. If Hearts get promoted, which I think they will, we'll wait and see what his impact is in the Premiership. Do I think the Pars will go up? I won't answer that question. It's too definitive for me. But I will say that I want the Pars to go up, definitely. Gary Mackay-Steven will be a brilliant signing for Hearts. Seen him a few years ago for United, and on his day, it's unstoppable. In the Championship, he should have a bigger impact if he's in the mood for it. This is the thing for me. Like, people are going to look back at like the compilation videos that you see of Gary Mackay-Steven and think that he's going to be the same player as he was at Dundee United, and that is in no way, shape or form the case. He got his move to Celtic off the back of Dundee United, and then left Celtic to go to the likes of Aberdeen. Performed well there, and then made the move to America. And when he went to America, I think he only got like 3 goals and 2 assists. And I just don't see that being the same Gary Mackay-Steven as we speak about when he was in Scotland previously. So it's yet to be seen. I do agree that in the Championship he'll have a far bigger impact. But as I said, in the Premiership, I'm not too sure. Prediction for Hamilton Accies versus Dundee United. 1-0 Dundee United, Nicky Clark to score. Said it earlier in the stream, to be fair, but you've probably just joined, so welcome to the stream if you've just joined. Same with Muzza. hello. Who would you say is the best gaffer in the Premiership from the start of 2020 until now? No Steven Gerrard, because Rangers fell off at the second half of last season. But then, do you really take, like, who could it be, man? Let's go to the Premiership table and just see what it was like. So the table, Scottish Premiership. Right, so we've had obviously not a Ross County manager, not a Hamilton one, not a Motherwell one because they were horrendous in 2020, not a St Johnstone manager because they're not doing too great. Jim Goodwin, nah, I'll not go for him obviously. I don't know if I can go for Jack Ross just because he lost the cup semi-final against Hearts. His record against the teams above him hasn't been great, so I can't really go for Jack Ross. You know, Neil Lennon and Celtic at the start of 2020, they played so well and then obviously won the league by way of the league ending prematurely, obviously. And then they went on to win the quadruple treble, but they've been horrendous this season. And it's complete flip side of it with Rangers because they fell off in the first half of 2020 and were by far better in this half of 2020. So I do think you have to go with Steven Gerrard for getting the first half of this year, or the first quarter of this year, because obviously it finished in March, just by sheer dominance that they've shown this season so far, and for the full second half of 2020, I'd have to go for Steven Gerrard at Rangers. Would have liked him back at United. I'm assuming you mean Gary Mackay-Steven. I mean, I'm sure Dundee United fans would have taken that, but I think wages would have played a massive part in this because I don't think Dundee United are in a position to be paying that sort of wages that Gary Mackay-Steven would have looked for. Calm, cheers for this. You are saying, where was the comment? You're one of my favourite YouTubers, I swear. Cheers for that, man. Appreciate that. Thoughts on James Cragen? Arbroath, fantastic guy. Really good guy. I've not got a bad word to say about the boy. Played with Dunfermline, was a really nice guy, and he just does so much good things for the community. I believe he's done some charity work over in recent times, so very nice guy. Would love to see Nadia Chivchi back at Dundee United. I think that's been one of the ones that's a bit like the Pablo Safranco stuff as well, where it's just like fans always look for the kind of older players that were kind of like cult heroes at the time, but I don't think any of them are that realistic to actually happen. Do you think Liam Smith will come on to be an internationalist over O'Donnell as he's much better? I think Liam Smith could have a chance. I think if he's going to go, I think Steve Clarke will still call up Stephen O'Donnell because he was a regular pick in the team that got us to the Euros. I think Liam Smith has a chance of being called up, but he will end up being a backup choice. So I just think Steve Clarke's one of these managers that has loyalty to players, and especially in an area like right back where we don't have a hell of a lot of depth. We've got Liam Palmer, I believe his name is, Sheffield Wednesday player, and then you've got the likes of Liam Smith in the periphery who could be called up. Callum Patterson can also play there as a utility player. That was where he was initially a player, I believe. So it'll be tough for Liam Smith to really break into the team just because of Steve Clarke's loyalty, as I said. But I think he does have a chance, especially in the future, because he's young, he's got age on his side, and he is a very good player. He's very consistent and a reliable player. Who's going down? Premiership, I'm saying Hamilton automatically, and for my sake, hopefully, Dunfermline come up at the expense of Ross County. Aberdeen wanted him back, but didn't have enough money. Fair enough. I'm not going to criticise any club for not having the financial backing to bring in players at this point, because I mean every club's going to be struggling for money. So it's just one of those things at the moment. You're never really going to be able to afford every single player you want. So if Aberdeen couldn't afford it, I think Derek McInnes has come out and said that they're not going to be signing any players this January. For example, they were linked with a player like Ewan Murray, so maybe they can't even be looking at a pre-contract agreement for him at this moment, just because of the money situation. So they'll probably wait until the summer and make a few more key additions then. I've still got another hour of streaming to go, and I'm at the very bottom of my juice. So we'll wait and see how that one pans out. I might need top up. Ben at the start of the season, I said Pars Dundee, Hearts would be in a title battle. I mean, that's fair enough. I don't think it was that bold a claim, if I'm being quite honest. I think that was probably the three obvious picks to have at the top. Hearts, obviously, because of the squad they have and the fact they've just been relegated. That tends to happen with newly relegated teams. You tend to have them very near the top of the table. Dundee, again, were always going to be challengers. They were challenging last season. They kept the bulk of their squad and they recruited well enough as well. So they were always going to be up there as well. Dunfermline done fantastically in recruitment, I think, this summer. And I think they built a very good platform for them to be a right promotion challenger. And it's been proven by this season, being sitting in second place and with a comfortable points gap over the team that just sits outside the promotion playoffs at the moment. So, as I say, I don't think it was that bold a claim to predict those three to be at the top of the table at the moment. It's just a toss-up between second and third for me. Just need to wait and see who picks up form come the end of the season. Or from now until the end of the season. It's not actually that long, really. 3.5 months till the end of the season. We've played 2 full months. No. 3 full months now we've played of football. So we've played almost as much as there is left. Am I watching Wolves versus West Brom? I might chuck that on. I'll put it on mute, obviously, because I don't want to interfere with the stream or whatever. I hope that it doesn't actually interfere with the quality of the stream. Let me know if the quality has ever dropped out in the stream or anything like that. Be interesting to know, because I've not got any other football games on, hence why I'm doing a show before games start rather than doing a live watch along type content. I stopped doing that because the quality of my streams ended up deteriorating over time. So I've gone with this before the game content where we can just chat about everything to do with Scottish football. So let me know if the quality of this stream, like my wee webcam thing, has ever dropped at any point. We spoke about Lawrence Shankland's goal earlier in the stream. A fantastic hit, and up there we go this season with Rory McKenzie's goal against Dundee United. I'm assuming you're a Dundee United fan, considering we called him Sir Lawrence. Rory McKenzie's goal against Dundee United is up there for me, and another one against Dundee United, James Tavernier's free kick against Dundee United, is up there as well. So that's my picks for goal of the season. Hammy HD, I think when vlogs are back, we need 1885 Dad in the vlogs, a wee section every week. There is potential for it now, because on Twitter he does a sort of match reaction type content. So when the vlogs do come back, there is really no excuse now for him to be on them. So definitely that is an option. I'm not with him at the moment. I'm in my own house, obviously, lockdown, etc. But as you said, once the vlogs get back, I'm sure my dad's actually in this chat. I'm sure he must be watching. So if he can get involved and let us know if he's willing to be in the vlogs when they come back, let us know. Aaron Hickey for Scotland. Now, this is the issue. We drink. We're an hour in. We're an hour into the stream, lads. And I'm literally on the last, tiny wee bit of this drink. Aaron Hickey is in a position where he's a left back, and what does Scotland have far too many of? Left backs, and top quality ones. Andy Robertson, obviously, captain. He'll be staying the captain, and you'd assume that he's always going to be if he's always going to be captain, he's always going to be playing, in my opinion. And you can't really argue with the fact that we've got a world-class left back within the Scotland setup. So Andy Robertson will be a consistent pick in the Scotland teams for the foreseeable future because he's still relatively young. And then you've got a player like Kieran Tierney coming up behind that, who's second choice left back, but also gets chosen for left-sided centre half when we play a three at the back, and he's also an option for even a four at the back as a left-sided centre half. So, and then there's also the format where you could play one of them as a winger, which would be a lesser choice for me because we do have very good attacking options. But I think Aaron Hickey is always going to be bearing the brunt of the fact that he's in a position, or he plays a position where there just is far too much quality ahead of him. So it will be tough for Aaron Hickey to ever break into the Scotland team regularly, in my opinion. I think Shankland. I heard this actually. I heard that Dick Campbell has built up a financial package to bring Lawrence Shankland to Arbroath, and he's starting today against Queen of the South, and I'm very confident he's going to get a hat-trick in today's game. Dundee United fans will be shocked at the news, obviously, but they've just signed a new their top scorer Nicky Clark to a new contract. So I'm really positive about Arbroath's chance to stay up now. Look at their 5 points gap to Queen of the South. I mean, bringing in a scorer like Shankland would be a brilliant move for them. Would Aberdeen be better with Scott Wright or Greg Stewart? 100% Scott Wright. He's a young, vibrant player to come into a team, any team. He'd be a brilliant player for any Premiership team, in my opinion. Greg Stewart, he's never going to get picked for Rangers regularly. He doesn't bring pace. He's not the same player that he used to be, certainly back in his Cowdenbeath/Dundee days. By far a better player back in those days, and I just don't see in any way it being a good deal for Scott Wright to leave Aberdeen and go to Rangers, and for the swap deal to be Greg Stewart to go the other way. Greg Stewart's tried it at Kilmarnock, where he actually played quite well, and then he moved on to Aberdeen here and there as well, and it never worked at Aberdeen. So I don't see why that would be a positive move for Aberdeen at all. I think Hearts must be looking at Gary Mackay-Steven as a Premiership player. They can't be so worried they think they need him in the Championship. Gary Mackay-Steven must be on 5k per week. I mean, that is mental, eh? That is mental if they're offering that much wages to in the second tier of Scottish football. It's unheard of. Like, I don't know much about wages and that. Like, I don't know how much Dunfermline pay their top earner, and I don't even want to think who could be the top earner. Could it be someone like Stephen Whittaker because he's experienced? I don't know. But it's mental to think that someone's on 5k a week in the second tier of Scottish football. But obviously Hearts have been a Premiership team for a long period of time now. Obviously they were doing the Championship a few years ago. But in terms of longevity in the Premier League for like a pretty long period of time, put it that way, they've always been known as a Premiership team pretty much. They've got the money to do things like this, and they will be looking at Gary Mackay-Steven to come in and be more of a Premiership player when they get back up there. But they were looking for a winger. They were looking for a winger in this window, and they've got that with Gary Mackay-Steven. So maybe it's not a case that they were worried of like him coming and being necessary right now in the Championship. But if they could get him in right now and be a quality player in the Championship, and then go on to be a very decent player in the Premiership as well, then fair play to them. And if they can afford that, even bigger fair play to them, because I wouldn't have thought a 5k wage would have been in any way reasonable for any team to pay in the second tier of Scottish football, especially with no fans in the ground as well. As I said before, with Aaron Hickey, Scotland have so many left backs, that is the issue for any young left back breaking through. Who do you think will get relegated this season in the Championship? I think it'll be Alloa and Arbroath. I don't know what way around that will be, but I think it'll be the two part-time teams to go down, and Falkirk to come up automatically from League One, and one of the three teams that end up being in the promotion playoffs in League One. I think they'll be strong enough to beat a team in the relegation playoff in the Championship, especially with the likes of Cove Rangers. We've seen recently in a cup game, Cove Rangers defeated Alloa 3-2. I think Cove were 2-0 or 2-1 down at one point, and came back to win 3-2 and looked on the highlights by far the stronger team. So I do think that if it's one of Cove Rangers, Airdrieonians, Partick Thistle, Montrose, then I think they will have enough to defeat either Arbroath or Alloa to get promoted. Where do you think Dunfermline would be right now with Nisbet? Top of the league. I'm going to say it. I think we would be top of the league. Games like last night, we couldn't finish our dinner last night. It was just that one bit of lack of finishing that we were missing. And ultimately, if we had a potent goal scorer like Nisbet was last season, he scored 23 goals in all competitions. Now, I know Declan McManus has scored 6 in the league so far. I think he scored just above that in terms of all competitions. I'll let you know that right now because I keep track of this type of stuff. I've got Dunfermline's first team squad contracts written on my phone notes, and I've got the top scorers for every season since 2016-17 in all competitions. You can say that's sad, or you can say it's no, but it lets me keep track of stuff like this. So we've got Declan McManus sitting on 7 goals at the moment. So it's an interesting one. Will he go to replicate the same numbers that Nisbet did? Probably not, because of the shortened season. Again, Nisbet played in a shortened season, so I don't know. If Declan McManus can replicate those numbers, fair enough. But I just think Nisbet was a more clinical finisher than McManus is. And I think we would be top of the league right now. As I said earlier, it's just the difference between the few draws that we've had. Like 0-0 at Ayr. Kevin Nisbet scored the only goal against Ayr last season in a 1-0 win. So there's a difference there. A 0-0 draw with Morton last night. As I said, Morton created next to nothing, and we were creating a large majority of the chances. And if we had that one quality bit in the final third, we would have probably won the game 1-0 because there wasn't much goals coming in that game. So I think Dunfermline would be top of the championship right now with Kevin Nisbet. There's my dad coming in. Good idea about getting involved in the vlogs. Glad to hear it. We'll see you there. Do you think League 1, League 2, Lowland League, etc. will continue? I said it earlier, I think it'll be very hard to continue with the leagues now that they have stopped. I really hope that they can continue, because the lower leagues is such a fantastic thing to sit and chat about. It's so different for the Premiership in terms of it just offers so much character and loads of different quality type players that you're never going to see at Premiership level. So I really hope they can, because if it doesn't, then you're going to see a situation where, how do you promote teams? Like, does it just get basically just cast aside for another season? Like, how can, like, if they didn't continue, and for example the Premiership and Championship continue for the full season, how do you determine how to finish League 1 and League 2? Because if the Championship continues and a team gets automatically relegated into League 1, and League 1 doesn't get to finish, and there's not been enough games played to just automatically promote someone, how do you determine who replaces the automatically relegated team from the Championship? I've never really sat and thought about that, but now that I think about it, like, how do you actually solve that? Hammy goes, he follows Pause Review, he does the wee 1 minute video, and he does them, he started doing them since, I don't know, maybe majority of this season pretty much. Last few months definitely. Seems to enjoy doing it, so fair play to him. Glad he's on camera and confident to do so. Because he was missing the service of Stuart, but Adam would provide that for him. Aye, definitely. Casey Gowns, what's your opinion on the Celtic Dubai situation? Jesus, this is a topic, eh? This could last for the rest of the stream. We've only got 50 minutes left, and that's how long you could spend talking about the Celtic situation. But I'll try not to, because it's a lot. It's a lot of information to take in. Obviously, Celtic have been horrendous so far this season. From every aspect, from the outside looking in, like me as a neutral, and their own fans, it's not been great to watch for them. It's been a weird turnaround, because Celtic have been by far one of the better teams, well, the best team in Scotland for a lot of time now. and they've just fallen off a cliff at a tremendous rate of knots, and I don't know how they've managed it. I really don't. It's such a difficult one to put your finger on because I just don't understand it. They still have a vast majority of the squad that has gotten them to the position that they currently sit in, which is obviously just winning the quadruple treble last month. Like a team that's just won a treble 4 seasons in a row is getting criticised so heavily, and rightfully so, by their fan base. Like, I know that we all kind of poked fun at it initially when they were kind of having a go at the board, etc., about how hard they were getting and stuff, but Celtic are run by a shambles at the moment. That Peter Law apology the other day was just nothing short of like laughable. I don't know how he's coming out with the stuff that he did, saying that Celtic are have been affected by the pandemic more than any other club. How can you come out and say that with any sense of confidence? I just don't get it. The whole going to Dubai thing, that should never have happened. And I just don't understand why they thought that was a good idea in any way. Like, here we go. You're on the main page of BBC Sport right now, and you have what now for Celtic and Lennon amid a tumultuous start to 2021. They ended 2020 by winning a quadruple treble, and here they are having a tumultuous start to 2021. Let's go into this article and just give it a wee read. And there's your man Kevin Nisbet. By the way, I did cheer when that goal went in because this man is on fire. He's scored double-figure goals, I believe it is, in the Premiership. What a season the guy's having. And I can't wait for the day that he goes and makes them filming even more money. From a selfish point of view, that's the main way I'm looking at this one. But aye. Celtic were desperate for some positivity after a torrid few months. So Christopher Jullien testing positive for coronavirus, thereby decimating the squad, wasn't quite what they had in mind. Now, that in itself, Christopher Jullien testing positive for coronavirus because they took a 4-month injured player, a long-term injured player, to a Dubai training camp where he is not going to be able to train. Yes, get treated on maybe, but like, is there a need? You're away for 5 days, maybe to a week. Do you have to take an injured player, which is just going to cause further risk? And obviously, you're not really. Maybe it's not at the forefront of your mind at that point that he is going to be the risk and the cause of a breakout in coronavirus. But that's just another aspect to it. It's like it's just not been. There's no been a risk assessment carried out on it. Like, why do you need to take a player that is going to just add that extra wee element of risk, no matter how little it is? So that's the first issue really with it, that they've taken a player that there's no need for him to be there. A week after returning from the controversial Dubai training camp, the fallout continues to be keenly felt by the Scottish champions. A belated apology to supporters from Chief Executive Peter Lawwell marked an attempt to draw a line under the episode, but has done little to quell fans' anger. So where does the latest sequence of events leave the club's and manager Neil Lennon? From champions to a battle for second. Now, there's another argument with it, that the fact that Celtic are in a battle for second place because they are in such poor form that even with games in hand, people are questioning if Aberdeen can overtake them. How have Celtic gotten to this position? They were by far champions in the last few seasons, but yet they are here, 21 points behind Rangers, and looking like losing the league by double-figure points easy. It's baffling. It really is. And here's the last wee point we'll kind of touch on here with Celtic. Celtic 2019-20, 52 points, 17 wins, 42 goal difference. And 2020-2021, this is after 20 Premiership matches, 44 points, 13 wins, and 30 goal difference. Now, the key difference, obviously, has been the Old Firm games. They have lost both Old Firm games, and then they've dropped points in other games. Now, the big difference you were mainly looking at the start of the season was going to be a kind of tight battle at the top of the league, and the Old Firm games would be the difference. Now, it currently has sort of been like that, but Celtic are now starting to drop points in games, not against Rangers. They just dropped points against Hibs, and they were beaten in the League Cup earlier this season by Ross County. So they're dropping points in games that you just wouldn't expect them to be dropping the points in. They drop points against like teams that in recent years they just would be beaten relatively easily, especially at Celtic Park. So the last bit that this piece goes on to talk about is the dilemma over Lennon's future, and I think he's got to go. I think he's got to be out the door, especially by the summer. If he doesn't go in the January or in the near future, Celtic are just kissing goodbye to any success this season. I think it's a shambles under the current regime. I think in the summer they have to make some sort of move to get back on track. Do you reckon Cammy Smith to Dunfermline has any legs? I hope so, Rory. I really hope so. I've been wanting Cammy Smith to sign for Dunfermline for years now. And it finally looks like it might be coming to fruition. Right, so we'll get back into some more recent comments because I really am falling behind in the comments. League 1 and League 2 sides should not be on shutdown. It's the Premiership sides that keep breaking the rules, not the lower league sides. I mean, you've got that argument as well, that League 1 and League 2 sides have been punished for the kind of wrongdoing of Premiership clubs, and also the fact that League 1 and League 2 sides can't test regularly. So there's loads of different ways to look at this one, but they have been shafted in a lot more ways than one. Want to watch the D-Ben? I'll let you use my spare season ticket. If you want to give me the details for that, Hammy, I'll be happy enough to take that. I mean, it's a free game of football, but you don't have to do that. But if you want, get in touch on Instagram. Go for it. Think there's any truth in Aberdeen wanting Murray? If so, do you think he'd go? I think he will go if he is offered the chance to go to a team like Aberdeen. You don't really turn down opportunities like that. So I do think he will go, Cammy. Liam Poworth out of contract, 15 assists last season and 6 this season in a poor Motherwell team. Not sure realistic a signing it is, but we'd love to have him. I think if Motherwell are not going to renew his contract for next season, I think a team that gets promoted could be looking at Liam Poworth. Bottom 6 Prem teams could be looking at him as well, because those type of numbers, you can't argue with that, especially in a Premiership team. Rangers fans saying they'd take Nisbet in the summer when Morelos will likely leave. That would be a good signing for either Celtic or Rangers. And I think Celtic might go under a bigger overhaul than Rangers will have to, because Rangers have got their kind of crux of their squad there that's been built and has been winning games recently and has seen large success. But I think Celtic will have to go under a overhaul. And I think Kevin Nisbet could be a very good addition to that overhaul. Livingston could beat Celtic today. It'd be interesting to see what happens. It will be. It'll be a very interesting game, and it's a darn shame that Celtic don't offer pay-per-view, because that would have been the game to watch. Because it will be so interesting to see. If Livingston get the win, that man Neil Lennon will be under pressure. Big pressure. And probably the most pressure that he'll have been under from fans, etc., and probably at this point even the hierarchy at Celtic, because losing to Livingston, despite how much in form they are, Celtic losing to Livingston is still a horrendous result on paper. But it'll be an interesting one to see what the result of that one is. I'll be eagerly looking at that one, really eagerly. As I said, I'll be watching the Hibs game today, Hibs versus Kilmarnock. And their recent signing is ex-Motherwell midfielder, winger, left back, right back, whatever he is, versatile player, I suppose, Chris Cadden. I think that's a very decent signing for Hibs. They've needed a quality player. Drew Wright hasn't been the signing they expected him to be. So getting an experienced Premiership player in, despite him only being 24, still relatively young, but he's played in the Premiership before, I think it's a good signing. Jack Ross's comments on the signing saying, we're bringing in a player who's still relatively young, who has achieved international recognition previously. So he had a lot of alternatives to consider when he decided to come away from the MLS. think the opportunity to put himself very much back in a lot of people's thoughts for Scotland was an attraction in coming to Hibs. And then on top of that, Lewis Stevenson signed a new deal for Hibs recently after he made his 500th appearance against Celtic off the bench. And Jackson Irvine also signed for Hibs, which I think that is a fantastic January window for Hibs. Signing their kind of stalwart player, legend of the club, to a new deal is a more sentimental choice. But Jack Ross saying it's not for sentiment, it's for football. But it is a nice kind of sentiment to see Lewis Stevenson from the outside looking in, getting a new deal at Hibs. Because he's shown a lot of loyalty to the club, and the club are showing that back to him as well. Jackson Irvine, I think, is a quality signing. Again, he'll be wanting to kind of put himself in the shop window for maybe a bigger move in the summer, or potentially getting back into stuff like the Australian squads when they come around as well. And on Chris Cadden getting back into the Scotland squad, that could be a late shout as well. So a lot of exciting things happening in the Scottish football transfer market. But let's get back into the live chat, because I kind of lost track of things there. It will be on His Goal for free. We do not back illegal streams here on the 1885 Ben channel. Thoughts on Queen's recent run of form? Very, very surprising. Because I had them finishing in one of the relegation spots this season. I think I had them finishing rock bottom. I thought this was going to be their season, but it turns out that the two part-time teams are just not really kicking into gear just yet. The last two results have seen Queen of the South really pull themselves out of the relegation worries that they were in. But it's been impressive, and Connor Shields has played a massive part. So it'll be interesting to see if they can win against Arbroath today, because I think that will really pull them away from that automatic relegation place that I had them in before the season began. Celtic v Livingston predictions. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Celtic win. It's a bit boring for me to predict that. I could go for a Livingston win easily and just make it a bit interesting, but I think David Turnbull will score. He's the man on form at the moment for Celtic, and I just think that he'll be the difference in today's game. What about Alan Campbell at Motherwell? He's a decent wee player and would do a job with a lot of clubs, and he's out of contract in the summer. Aye, he is a decent player, and I think he's maybe more destined for a move down south rather than to another Premiership team, because I think Motherwell for him is like the ideal club to be at. I could be completely wrong, but I think that if a club down south in the summer comes in for him, I think he'll go. It'll be sad, because I think that will kind of take away a bit of the limelight for him, because I think he could end up at like a more bottom end Championship League One type level. I don't think he's quite top end Championship level just yet. So I think it will take him out of the limelight in terms of like Scottish players and stuff. I think it's far better being our top flight, be able to get that spotlight put on you. But no doubt he's a fantastic player. But I can see him being down south. Rory, are you serious? Come on, lad. You really think I was serious about that? That was just a running joke. Come on. Mike, Queens have really adapted to Dobie's injury. That's an interesting thing to look at, actually, because in the last few seasons, Stephen Dobie has been so key to Queen of the South. Like, let's have a look at this. So let's go to Google. Stephen Dobie. No, let's go to Soccer Base. Stephen Dobie, football stats, Queen of the South, Soccer Base. Right. So, in 2020-2021, so far, 10 appearances, 4 goals so far, right? And he's played in 10 games. Good, right? Let's go back to, when did he join Queens? 2016-17, he was at Queen of the South. So let's have a look at this. He scored, in 42 games, he scored 26 goals. Now that's massively, that saves Queen of the South season, you'd have to say. Played a massive part in their season there. 2017-18. he scored 27 and 42. Again, one goal better than that season just past that we looked at before. And then last season, 11 goals and 30. Now, he did fall off last season, and definitely near the end, as you can see, he went 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games without a goal at the end of the season, where Queen of the South as a team scored 4 goals. But clearly he's started to dip a bit, and obviously this season he's only played 10 games so far, and he's had a wee bit of an injury. Connor Shields, on the other hand, has come into the team and provided them with a bit of a goal threat, and something that they would have been gagging to see, really, because there's no doubt that a team like Queen of the South need a goal scorer to be performing well. For some reason, the search bar on Soccer Base isn't working, so I'm going to do it this way. But for a team like Queen of the South to have a goal scorer, it's a massive part to play, because we've seen it in recent years. Literally, in the last 2 seasons prior to this one, Queen of the South stayed up because of Stephen Dobie's goals. And this season, 15 appearances, Connor Shields has gotten 7 goals so far. And in his last 4 games, he's scored 5. So that's a fantastic return. And before that, he'd scored another 2 in the first 2 games. He went on a long ban spell, but that was when Queen of the South were absolutely horrendous and couldn't win a game for love nor money. They won no games in this period. 1 draw there. They won in the cup. They won against Alloa. So a draw, 2 draws, and a win. That's it. No, 2 draws, 2 wins. That was it. And they've barely scored goals in that period. So you can't really say that Connor Shields had a massive part to play in the downfall of that period, because the team was leaking goals left, right, and centre. 6 goals there, 5 goals there, 3 goals there. 3 goals there again. So in the last 4 games, the goal scoring threat of Connor Shields has played a massive part in their resurgence back into relevancy, you'd have to say, in the Scottish Championship. Because when you look at the table, we've seen the Scottish Championship table in this stream so far, but when you look at the table, those 2 wins in the form guide, where you can see the form beforehand, loss, and then 2 wins, has pulled them from being 4 points and in 10th place below Arbroath to now 10 points and 2 points clear of Alloa in the relegation playoff place. So you've got to commend a guy like Connor Shields for coming in and making such a big impact, and for his involvement in the fact that Stephen Dobie's injury hasn't hampered them in the same way it would have in previous seasons, because there's no doubt they would have been relegated in one of the last 2 seasons without Stephen Dobie. Definitely. Hopefully Queens keep Shields at least until the summer. He will keep us up if he stays. That could be a scenario, definitely, because he is definitely your form player, the star man at the moment, and I would back him to score in today's game, if I'm being quite honest, against Arbroath. Bottom of the table team. If Queen of the South are really going to start pushing on and push up the table any further, then Connor Shields will have a massive part to play in it. And then Stephen Dobie coming back may end up coming back and getting a new lease of life, because the team's playing better again. So it'll all have a knock-on effect. Maybe Stephen Dobie's kind of lack of form was due to Queen of the South just not being as good a team overall. He won't play today, still injured, I think. Not even that bothered. No point in changing him in the team. I mean, that's a fair point as well. Queen of the South have gotten them into a position without Dobie where they've been on form. So you wouldn't just try and fit a square peg into a round hole when it's been working. He thinks Gary Mackay-Steven might be starting today. Edinburgh Evening News thinks he's ready to start. That'd be an interesting one. That could be the difference between the result last time against Alloa in the League Cup, where he's obviously lost 1-0. Having a quality player like Gary Mackay-Steven on the pitch could be just the difference against a team like Alloa away from home. Having that kind of flair on the pitch to be able to just open up a defence or just that one bit of quality for outside the box. It's those type of differences that wins teams divisions and leagues and championships. Colin Ritchie was a hard watch last night. Dunfermline are better than that, but it's a point, not great, but onwards and upwards. We were the better team, but ultimately you need to take your chances, and that's the thing we did not do. So, not the greatest game to watch. Onwards and upwards, as you say. Do you think Osman Sow can compete with strikers on the top flight such as Shankland? Oh no! I just said it. Oh what? Why did I have to say that? I know you've only misspelled it. You've not even meant it. I had to say it. Anyway, Nisbet. Osman Sow going up to the top flight. I don't think he can compete with the likes of Nisbet. Not even Shankland, if I'm being quite honest. I don't back him to be that great quality. I would back him to be on the same sort of form as a player like. Let's go for like a St Mirren striker like Jonathan Obika, that type of striker. So that's what I'd go for. Alex Kerr, give me strength. he doesn't agree with you, put it that way. I think the league should stop. Would be a real shame for Hearts to stay down, wouldn't it? I don't know. That screams sarcasm to me. I don't think you're a Hearts fan. I think you want Hearts to stay down. I think AJ will play Dobby more as a number 10. That could be the next step for Dobby, just kind of coming back and being a more creative player, feeding the strikers more. That could be a way to look at it, definitely. What do you think the Dundee score will be? Dundee versus Ayr. I think, did I predict this one earlier? If I did, I think I went with 2-0. I'll go with 2-0 anyway. The same as Hammy's gone with there, 2-0. I'll go with Charlie Adam and Osman Sow to get on the score sheet. I think Osman Sow will score, as we saw earlier. If you're here early in the stream, we went through the Championship's top scorers, and it shows on the BBC Sport website, just like goals per 90 minutes. And Osman Sow is averaging a goal every 85 minutes, I believe it is. So if you're a betting man, then Osman Sow to score today might make it. I bet you Callum Morrison will go to Dunfermline at some point. Can see it happening. That would be a very interesting one for me. He was in the year above me at high school, and I used to play with him at the AstroTurf pitch at my old high school. So that'd be a very interesting one for me to kind of come full circle and then be cheering on a guy that I used to play football with. Be a weird dynamic. He did sign a deal at Falkirk recently, so I'm not going to hold too much to that. But you see it happening, so if you're Mystic Meg, then I'll go with that. How many goals have Dunfermline scored from open play this season? Oh, I mean, all of Ewan Murray's goals have come from set pieces, so there's 7 gone. So that, I think, puts us on around about 30 goals. Oh wait, lads, wait a minute. Sorry, this is vital. I'm in a bidding war with people on eBay for a Dunfermline kit, and I need to win it. I need to win it. Please do not take this and hijack the bid. Please, I need to win it. It's a kit that I've been after for ages, and I'm just desperate to win it. I'm not going to show it on screen because I do not want anybody to take it off me. So, and for the next 5 or so minutes, I need to be focusing on this. Cheers for sending the details on Instagram, Hammy mate. I actually wish I hadn't mentioned it. No. Aye, we'll wait and see if I can win this. I'll be so happy if I can win this kit. I almost forgot about it as well. I completely escaped my mind because I've just been focused on the stream. But can Jack Hendry replace Ayer if he leaves? I've seen recently that the team that Jack Hendry's on loan at wanted him back. So it kind of is putting his potential move back to Celtic on hold. Let's just kind of get this up on a Google search so I can definitely get exact information on that one. Jack Hendry news. Jack Hendry Celtic return blow as Ostunde or Ustende outline transfer stance for Lone Star. Let's read this one. And Glasgow Live Sport, whilst also keep an eye on that eBay bid more. Centre half has been impressive for the Belgian side after signing a season-long loan in the summer. Jack Hendry will not be returning to Celtic in January as the Parkhead club have no option to recall the defender. Centre half's been impressive and in form for the Belgian side, but the Daily Record claimed there's no chance of his time being cut short, as Celtic didn't insert a callback clause in the deal. So there's definitely no chance of him coming back in this window for Celtic anyway. But in terms of long term, if Ajer leaves, I don't see a reason why Jack Hendry can't be given the opportunity. So, why not? Apparently Carlisle want Shields. Get the fuck Carlisle. Sign him in the summer, we need him. That would be absolutely devastating for Queen of the South to lose the goal scorer that's just gone into a bit of form. That would not be a good move from Carlisle. They would be bad people if they'd done that. What do you think the Hibs score will be? I predicted 2-1. Kevin Nisbet to score 2 and Greg Kilty to score for Kilmarnock. So that's my prediction for that one. What Dunfermline kit is it? I don't want to say. I'll show it if I win it. If I don't win it, I'll also show it. I don't want to say though, in case anybody goes on and hijacks it. So you'll find it in a bit. I'll show you if I get it. Definitely. I'd say Aberdeen and Livy, to be honest. I think they'll beat us in 72 games. Fair enough. Hello, Bailey. I'm assuming you've just joined the stream. You've joined with about 20 minutes of the stream left to go. But cheers for joining nonetheless. Giving Shields a new deal is priority this month for Queens. Definitely. Is he only on a 1-year deal? Oh, I don't know if they'll be able to offer him a new deal though, because financially, can they afford it? I don't know. If he signs a pre-contract with another team, they might just have to bite the bullet, because ultimately, I don't know if they're going to have the finances to be able to offer him a new deal. They're going to have to offer him a decent package as well, because teams like Carlisle will not be short of money. Certainly not as short as a team like Queen of the South will be. I'm so nervous about this shirt, man. I've just seen it. Nice kit. If that's the one, hope you get it. Again, I'm not going to say what one it is. I just hope that I win it. There's really no long left. Charlie Adam or Stephen Naismith? Charlie Adam. It might be, depending on, obviously, depending on who you support, you'll have different opinions on that. But in my opinion, Charlie Adam is going to be a quality player in the Premiership. And I've said it about a lot of players that it's sometimes hard to make that step up to the Premiership and really be a consistent performer. I think Charlie Adam would have no issue going in the majority of Premiership teams and performing well consistently. Like Kieran Ross, for example, Stephen Naismith. So, it really does just depend. Who do you support, Kieran? Just out of interest. If you're a Hearts fan, then that is probably a bit biased. But what's my thoughts on the last game? I'm assuming you mean Dunfermline's last game last night. Terrible watch. Charlie Adams Championship level at best. Oof. Looking at the name, I would assume you're a Dundee United fan. So I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt. I don't think you mean it, really. Definitely not. I know the kit. Googled it. Wow. Mate, we have no long left. Seriously, this is getting down to the wire. Oh. I'm just waiting for somebody to come in and be like, last minute. The next minute or so will be me really focusing on this. So do not worry. I'm not neglecting these. I'm just really focused on winning something that I really want. So I take my phone off charge. Kind of slowing the process of the bidding thing down. Oh my god, I've actually been outbid. Jesus. No. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. No! You fucking dick! Oh no! Oh, you wee dick, man! Fuck off! Boo! Shite bag! Absolute boo! Oh no! Good. Oh, fuck off! I bet somebody was watching this fucking stream, man. Oh, what? Fucking aye, outbid by like £2 or something. Absolute shite. Hell. Oh, aye. Didn't get it. 1 second to go. 1 second to go. Fuck's sake. It wasn't the red kit. It was. Oh, show you knew. Right, I'll get it up on screen. That's pissed me off. I don't know if I can even show you, to be quite honest. Bloody treadmill coming up. Yes, I was looking at a treadmill, lads. How do I get this up? Like, it's finished. I don't know if I can even get it up now. Fulfillment Athletic Kit and auction. I probably can't see it now. No. I'll try and like send myself the link or something. See, can I do this? Actually, like, you know what's going to happen on eBay. Like, you just know it. But, oh, I can't believe that. I was highest bidder for 5 days. 5 days. Absolute mental. And then you bid until the last second, and somebody just comes in and goes, nah. Oh. Was it the grey one with the triangles? Yes, it was. It indeed was. I'll try and show you it in the thing now. In fact, I can put myself on full screen. Let's know. Make this awkward. Take that off and go full screen. It was that kit. I've been looking for that kit forever, and I really wanted it. Size small would have fitted me. I could have worn it. 113 quid was the final bidding. I bid 111. What a shambles. What a shambles. Oh, gutted. Aye, definitely. Brutal. RIP in the chat. Let's get an RIP in the chat. That's a sexy kit. It indeed is. And, oh, I just can't believe. I cannot believe it. I genuinely cannot believe that just happened. Unbelievable. Yep, RIP. RIP's in the chat. Thank you very much, people. RIP. Literally 2 seconds. I know. It was like, it was counting down. It was like 10, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it was like 2 seconds. I'd bid 111 with like 6, 8 seconds to go or something like that. And then the guy comes in literally with like 2 or 1 second to go. Absolute stinker. RIP, RIP, RIP. Indeed. Thank you very much. Why did I not bid back? Because I only had 1 second to bid back. It's like, oh, big stinker. Big stinker. Can we get a... I don't know if I'm doing this the right way. Am I doing it the right way? L in the chat. L in the chat. RIPs, L in the chat. F in the chat as well. Oh. Dundee, South Africa tour kit. Let's search this one apparently. This is a nice tour kit. South. If you're having me on here, Hammy, I swear. Because I can't see anything. Anyway, I find time. How much did you bid? 113 quid. Beauty of a kit as well. I know. Absolutely baffling. Oh, why did you have to do that to me, man? I have to say, no, I don't like the United purple kit, if I'm being quite honest. We were all rooting for you then. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, eh? That's all it was. L in the chat, L in the chat. Thank you very much, people. We've even got Liam L in the chat. Hearts team out for all Hearts fans. Gary Mackay, Stephen on the bench. Let's go look at the Hearts team that's out then. Let's get back onto the football. Search Twitter. 90 minutes until Celtic Livingston come on the hoops. Is the Celtic team out? The Celtic team is indeed out. Hazard, Duffy, Beaton, Sorrow, Turnbull, Rogic, Mikey Johnson, Frimpong, McGregor, Ralston, Lax out. Still, the youngsters obviously for Celtic pretty much. Not as many youngsters as the other day. Ones like Cameron Harper, Stephen Welsh, Karamoka Dembele, Okoflex on the bench at the moment, but it's certainly not the strong 11, obviously, because players are self-isolating. So there is the Celtic lineup against Livingston. Hearts starting 11 against Alloa is Craig Gordon, Michael Smith, Christoph Berra, Jamie Walker, Jordan Roberts, Andy Halliday, Andy Irving, Stephen Kingsley, Elliot Freer, Craig Halkett, and Ewan Henderson. And there he is, number 17, Gary Mackay-Steven, on the bench. Liam Boyce on the bench, Stephen Naismith on the bench. Who's up front for Hearts? Is Jamie Walker up front? Is Jamie Walker like the striker for Hearts in this game? Like actual? I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to some other lineups. Let's go and see the Dundee lineup. Not been it yet. Not yet, but the game's going ahead. There was a pitch inspection earlier. The game's going ahead. What other ones could we look at? We could look at Hibs. Brilliant. We have released the lineup. Kevin Nisbet starts. Macy, Paul McGinn, Hanlon, Porteous, Doig, Rogic, Halberg, Jackson Irvine starts his debut for Hibs. Martin Boyle is back. Actually, that reminds me, I'll put him in my fantasy team. Jamie Murphy and Kevin Nisbet. We like Christian Doidge on the bench. Cadden on the bench, potentially going to make his debut today. So there's that lineup. Livingston. I actually need to do this for my fantasy team because I need to find out like who's playing, who's not. Today's team news coming at 1:45. Well, where's your team news? Because it's 1:50. Right. Rumours are Dundee game off after second inspection. That would kind of explain the team potentially not being out yet, but can anyone tell me, like, no, Henderson, the young lad, is up front? Here's striker. Who's midfielder? Livy lineup. Well, tried to look at the Livy lineup, and it's not there at the moment. Let's try fantasy team. I still can't believe about that kit. I'm actually traumatised. Unbelievable. You wait so long to be flummoxed at the last second. Imagine if someone was actually watching the stream and clipped it up. I would be raging. Right, so in my team, I've got Benjamin Siegrist in goal. So let's look at the Dundee United starting 11. Siegrist is in goal. And I've got Nicky Clark up front. Nicky Clark is starting. So that's fine for my Dundee United element of my team. I've got Hoban and Ferguson. Aberdeen. So let's go into this. Tommy Hoban starts and Lewis Ferguson starts, so that's fine with me. I then have, I know Laxalt starting and Turnbull started, I believe. He must have. It's the main man. Aye. Turnbull, Laxalt, so that's fine. Kevin Nisbet starting. So now all we need is Livingston's. Oh, 4 tweets in the last hour. Oh yes. One change from last Sunday as Steve Lawson comes in for Jason Holt. So we have Josh Mullins starting. Martin Boyle's also starting. Right. So I need to make the decision here. 2 players to take out. Right, because I think Celtic might, even though I've predicted a 1-0 win, there is the possibility that Celtic could actually concede. So I'm going to take Laxalt out and put Josh Mullin in. And then Martin Boyle. Who would, lads. Oh, the Dundee game's off. Is it actually off? Shocker. How do you know it's off though? Dundee game off. Dundee VA game off. When it got me just turned up at Dens, so we told the match been called off, pitch unplayable. Wow. That is a bit mental. Shame that, but another game in hand. Right. I need to bring in, I've got 5 minutes to sub out one player. I'll put myself back on full screen so that you can make the decision with me. Right, here's my fantasy team. I've got Martin Boyle on the bench there, as you can see. And there's my team. Make the decision for me which player I sub out in favour of Martin Boyle, because he's starting for Hibs. I think I should sub out a defender, and I don't know which one. Should I sub out Guthrie just in case Livingston do concede? Because I'm not going to get many points if they concede. So let me know. I'll leave that just sitting there so that you can look at it a wee bit in depth. But please let me know. And oh look, this is a relevant comment. Boyle scored 2 against Kelly first game of the season, and they're playing Kilmarnock again. Surely I need to try and fit him in here somewhere, lads. So, aye, let me know. I think I sub out a defender, and who's more likely to concede? Livingston at Celtic Park or Aberdeen at Ross County? 1874 Andrews said Guthrie. The only thinking behind Guthrie was that Celtic are really weak at set pieces, and if Livingston are to score, one of the methods could be through a set piece, and Guthrie has scored in quite a few games recently. So that was my thinking behind that one. But I just don't know. I'm in 2 minds about it. I've only got a few minutes until the deadline. Deadline is 2 p.m. as you can see up there. Saturday 16th of January at 2 p.m. is the deadline. So I need to do this now. I'm thinking it's Hoban or Guthrie. It's Hoban or Guthrie. Aye, Cian. It literally is Hoban or Guthrie. So like, let me know, please, what you think, because I really need to make a decision quick here. Celtic don't have any strikers playing. Mental. What said they've been turned away as off. Aye, I saw those tweets there. Dundee game off, Dundee Veer game off. Dundee game off, that's my Saturday round. Massive change there then. Oh man. Hoban or Guthrie, lads, right? I've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes, right? Hoban or Guthrie? Hoban or Guthrie? Let me know. Hoban, Guthrie. Who would you have in your... Who would you sub out? Hoban or Guthrie? I can't put any other players in, man. I'm not taking points deductions this week. I've taken too many points deductions. Right. Few people saying Hoban. Mike saying Hoban's the better option. Hoban. Right, it's Hoban. Sorry. Hoban is getting subbed out for Martin Boyle. Do I put bench boost on? That is the only thing. Because if they two get clean sheets, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, lads. I'm going to do it. Bench boost. Bench boost. Right. That is the fantasy team sorted. We're almost at the end of the stream. I've almost been streaming for 2 hours. Mental. Folk have literally like spammed in Hoban as well, so that's fair enough. I think you're saying nah, man, to do the bench boost, but I've done it. I don't think I'll have a guaranteed stronger bench for the rest of the season, so I've done it. What am I using to stream? I'm using the StreamYard. Very good software, and I recommend it if you want to stream. You do need to pay to get like overlays like I had earlier in the stream, but I do recommend it. It gives you like the logo in the top right corner that you can see. But again, you do need to pay for elements like that. Man of the match to the Pars last night, mine was Lewis McCann. I would give it to Ian Wilson or Ian Wilson if he'd stayed on the pitch, but I'll give it to like Paul Watson. I think just because the defences were half decent. It was a very hard game to pick. The Wraith game's been off for like months at this point. Nobody needs to know. That's not an update. But aye, lads, it's been a pleasure to be in your company for 2 hours today. A very good 2 hours. Good first Afore The Game episode. So let me know like by social media or commenting on the video when it goes live, the actual live stream when it goes live again on my channel later on today. I'll be doing this before pretty much every match day, so most Saturdays. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. I appreciate you coming along. Let's just go back into this view for the last wee bit of the stream. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully you all enjoy your games for the rest of the day. And we can speak about it potentially the next time I come on stream, about what you think, about how your team played, etc. So cheers for being here. Thanks to people who, like Hammy, who's been here for this whole 2 hours. Thanks very much. £2.99 spent wisely. Cheers, man. Kieran MacArthur, thanks, Ben. Really good stream. Keep up the good work, mate. Thanks. Baby Shanks, cheers. Liam Mell's been here for the full 2 hours. Thanks very much. And there's Robbie B from the South. Get our both beat. Fair enough. Right. I'll see you in the next stream, lads. And thanks for being here. See you later on.